demand can change is through a change in demand. And I tried to point it out when we talk about changing quantity demand, and I emphasize it again today, is that this is a change in demand, so notice that there is no quantity in there. Okay, so this is an increase or decrease in the amount demanded at each and every price. And it's going to move the entire demand curve. We call it a shift. So, the quantity demand, we were just changing the price of that particular product, and we were just moving up and down that demand curve. Now, there's a variety of things that can cause this to happen, but we will have the demand curve increase or decrease at every single price. So, what this actually looks like when we start with our regular demand curve. Okay, one of those things that I mentioned with the income and substitution effect, I said do not change the income, do not change the price of the substitute. Well, we know in reality those two change it. So let's go back to our chilies as an example, and let's say that I say, okay, we started with $50, but then I say, well, no, we're going to go down to $25. And you only get $25 for your income. What do you suppose is going to happen to your demand for chilies? It's going to go down. And what's going to happen is that it's going to actually decrease the amount that you demand at every single price. So, I'll demand left shift is a decrease in demand. And I'll show you why that is. If we pick out any price, let's say we're picking out this price, I don't even have to label it. I don't have to use any numbers. We're just picking out a particular price. And so this is our price that we're picking out, and we're looking at where it intersects our original red demand curve here. So here's where it intersects our original red demand curve, okay? And there's our original quantity. Again, I don't have to use numbers. If we have that case of where everybody is having less money, I started you with $50 and now all of a sudden I cut it in half, now you have $25, okay? It's going to shift the demand curve all the way to the left at every single price. And so what happens is that now, okay, we intersect at that same price, we intersect the demand curve here, okay? Look at the difference between these quantities. You can tell, I mean, we already know that this is 0 right here. The closer we get to 0, the more we are, the more we're getting to 0, the more the quantity is dropping. Okay? So we could pick out any other prices along here, and they would be the same no matter what. Here's the original demand. Here's the new demand. And you will see at every single price along this green demand curve, all the quantities are going to be less than what they were at that price on the original demand curve. You just don't have as much money. Okay? So that's a left shift in demand. Now, the opposite, a right shift in demand, is going to be an increase in demand. So what if instead of saying that you had $50 to spend, what if you had $100 to spend? Would you be more willing to go to Chili's?
So.
Yeah? Okay? So at every single price, you'd be more willing to go to Chili's. And so as a result, we can see this. Okay? If I go and extend my price line all the way out so it meets my blue increase in demand, my blue right shift, okay? Here's my new quantity demand. And you can tell that the red quantity, okay, here's my original quantity, or my original quantity 0, okay? Here's my quantity from my right shift. You can tell that the quantity has changed. I don't even have to put any numbers up there. It is all increased. And I could go at every single price and they would all be increased. Okay? So, right shift in demand, increase in demand. Left shift in demand, decrease in demand. Now, the question is, what causes that to happen? So, this is where we're going. I would like you to copy down this chart in your notebook, and we are going to use your book. God forbid, I know. So, copy down this chart in your notebook, and then I want you to get out your book and open up to page 109, I believe. Let me check.
This needs to be in our notes.
Yep, should be in your notes, should be underneath this, because this is the factors that cause a change in demand. Yeah, 109. At the bottom of 109 starts the factors that cause a change in demand.